Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I am doing my April bullet journal setup, and for this month's theme I am doing a white calla lily / leaf theme. So on my front cover I'm doing a mini calendar, which I usually do, and then I'm doing a Dutch door with my large cauliflower on it. And if you guys want more tips on how to draw calla lilies, you can watch my video I made a couple weeks ago about how to draw white calla lilies, and I went more in depth because I didn't speed the video up as much. But since I have a lot of things to draw today, I'm just speeding the video up. And since I want more contrast between the flower and the paper, I'm coloring the background black. And I'm using my Copic Multiliner brush size medium for this. And then I'm using my unique Posca white paint pen to write April in a cursive font, and I'm just using the thinner one to make some lines to give it more depth. And then now I'm just cutting my Dutch door out with some normal scissors, and then I accidentally cut the paper on the other side, but I can just add washi tape on that later. And now I'm going to work on my mini calendar. And this mini calendar, I want it to have a more minimalistic style, so I'm not going to draw in all the grids. I'm just going to draw in the lines for the different weeks. And then I'm just evenly spacing out the dates on the calendar. And then I have 3 different grays. I have a light warm gray and a dark warm gray, and then I just have like this light neutral gray. So I'm just drawing a bunch of different ferns on top of the calendar, and then I'm also going to draw the ferns underneath. And I didn't sketch out the different ferns, so I'm just creating this as I go along. So I have some pine trees or pine needles, and then I have some normal ferns and some oak leaves. You can just draw whatever types of leaves you want. I just added the different types so that there would be variety. And then on the bottom I'm doing the same thing, just different combinations of ferns. And then I'm going to move on to my next page. So on the back of the Dutch door I'm going to do a quote, which is, "When you feel like stopping, think about why you started." And again, I'm sort of going for a more minimalistic style, so I'm not going to add that much designs on this page. I'm just going to draw 2 ferns as I already did. Then I'm just drawing a rectangle around the words. And then on the other side of the Dutch door, I'm doing a mini doodle, and then I'm using my washi tape for this ribbon I'm drawing, and then I'm using my X-O knife to cut out the ribbon. And if I had a smaller X-O knife, I would have used that, but since I don't, I'm just using one of the cardboard cutter ones. It works the same as long as you don't press too hard. And the blade for this X-O knife is kind of dull, so it won't cut into my paper, which I don't want. And then I'm also adding a fern on there. And then on the other side, or on the next page, I'm doing another calla lily. And I actually decided that I want to split my year into 2 different bullet journals, because in my setup for 2021, I said that I wanted to do my entire year in this bullet journal, because I got the 192 pages one, which has like more than enough for 6 months. So I just thought maybe I could just fit my entire year into the bullet journal. But then I felt like I was super limited to the amount of paper I could use on each spread. So I decided that I could do 6 months in this bullet journal and 6 months in the other bullet journal that I'm going to buy later on. But this bullet journal had so much paper that now I'm not going to limit myself to how much paper I use per month, because there's still going to be way more than enough even once I finish my bullet journal, so that's why I'm doing so many spreads compared to, let's say, my January bullet journal setup. I only did like 2 spreads or 2 or 3 spreads. So I'm probably going to do more Dutch doors, especially my weekly spreads, because Dutch doors are actually not very useful. They just sort of use more paper, but I sort of like them because it just looks nicer even though it's not as useful. So now I'm just doing my notes and goals and YouTube idea and brain dump. And of course, if you don't need all of these different categories, you can just make 1 or 2 categories bigger. But I find that I used most of these categories a lot. And then in the empty areas, I'm just drawing some random ferns with the same grays I used on my mini calendar. And again, I haven't sketched out these ferns, so I just draw them as I go along and make them up in my head before I draw them. And then I'm trying to use a different variety of leaves. And I'm sort of overlapping the leaves. And I know it's like in real life it wouldn't actually be possible because like leaves aren't translucent, but I sort of like the look of it. And also it would just be too much work to draw those tiny leaves not overlapping each other. And then now I'm just doing my last corner. And I think in my first corner I drew too many leaves, so don't draw too many leaves like I did, because it just like looks like a jumble of different weird lines and you can't really tell the difference between the leaves. But I think the third corner I drew looked better. And now I'm going to move on to my next spread. And I already did a mini calendar on the front, but I didn't really know if I should have done a larger calendar. But I felt that now that I have more space to do my calendars, and I can do 1 mini calendar and 1 larger calendar, so I'm doing a large calendars. And I sort of like the large calendar so that you can write more things in the slots. But then again, you can't really have an easy overview of the whole month. So I did the mini calendar for the overview of the entire month, and then I'm just going to add like tiny symbols in the mini calendar to show like when I film my videos and when I post them. But then for more events, I just used the larger calendar. And then I decided to use orange as my accent color, so I'm just going in to accent the words and the letters. And I sort of did the accenting. I don't know if that's a word, but I did it super quickly. So after the video, I sort of tweaked it and made it look nicer. So sorry if it doesn't look that nice. And then I didn't show you guys when I drew those mini flowers, because I didn't actually want the mini flowers, and so I colored over it with the black. And then I drew in with my Uni Posca, and then I wrote April in the same cursive thing I did at the beginning. And in the corner, the bottom corner of the other side, I am drawing a large orange fern. And for my large calendar, I didn't do that much planning, so I just ended up drawing a bunch of random things. And I don't think the composition was that good. So next time I'll remember to make sure I really think about the color and stuff. Because before I actually drew this in my mind, I thought it would look okay with the minimalistic style and without that much designs next to it, but then once I did it, it looked kind of weird, so I just drew that big orange fern to balance out the black blob on top. And the reason why I chose this orange color was because in the stamen of the white calla lily, it was orange, and then I felt like that color was super out of place by itself. So then I just used orange as my accent color. And this spread ended up not looking that good, to be honest, because that fern was just like out of place, but I thought the front looked okay. And then now I'm just adding some more highlights on the flower with my mini Posca. And I'm straightening up the orange and yellow on the days of the week. So there is my monthly setup for the month of April 2021. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to like, subscribe, and share this video with others. Follow me on Instagram at livvy.dolphin and visit my Etsy shop at livvy-dolphin-art. Also, if you guys want to see my weekly setups, make sure to watch my weekly videos called Livvy's Weeklies, where I do a mini art tutorial, and then I also do my weekly setup for the next week. And you guys can also see my weekly setups on Instagram. Thank you guys so much for watching again, and I'll see you in my next video.